These accusations are made about city staff and city council. We take them very seriously. Several times they've come up in public comment, and we have remained silent pending research on our part and behalf. I have requested this, and I've got some statements and some information here that represents what the city has, and what I have a personal statement in here too. In February 22, city staff and council members were made aware that Mr. Zane White was proposing a project to renovate the Cactus sign. When the efforts to the proposal failed, Mr. White began what he termed, and this is his words, an aggressive campaign to get the city of San Angelo to take enforcement against Mr. Pfluger to compel him to agree with Mr. White's project or otherwise repair the sign. Mr. White made a complaint to the Sign Development Service Department, who began an investigation into the complaint. The complaint alleged that the sign is abandoned or defective since the sign was missing letters and no longer lights up. On May 18, 2022, a notice of violation was given to Mr. Pfluger under Chapter 12, Article 4, Section 12.04.014 of the Code of Ordinance, which addresses the sign maintenance and removal. So we pursued it at that time. As part of the investigation into the complaint, staff verified with a structural steel inspector that the sign is A, structurally sound condition and is not dangerous. That's point one. A drone was also flown around the building as to inspect the structural integrity, and so the fire department could evaluate it. No structural or safety concerns were noted during that investigation. In addition, when providing information related to the complaint, the property owner indicated that the removal of letters to spell hotel on one side and the building ACTUS letters on the other side was done intentionally, not as a function of dilapidation or proper maintenance, but just so there were 5 letters on each side. Recent decisions by the U.S. Supreme Court severely limit the ability of the city to find sign violations based upon the content of the sign, rendering portions of our sign ordinance unconstitutional and unenforceable. Since the property owner changed the sign to read as it does intentionally, and there are no structural or safety issues that have been found, the sign cannot be found abandoned or defective. I mean, that's just how it is, merely because we want it to look a different way. As a result, staff closed the file in August of 22 and continues to evaluate the rules and regulations as they apply to the historic signs of the city of San Angelo. All of this information was provided to you, Mr. White, on August 31st of 2022. Though notified that the complaint was closed, Mr. White has acted towards city staff and city council, and I witnessed this again last night at a town hall meeting. These actions include, the first one is gaining access to City Hall building while it was closed during the lunch hour and attempting to enter the city attorney's office when it was closed. He publicly criticized and accusing members of city council and city staff of corruption through social media, but requesting to be friends or join their private social media accounts. And Mr. White, it is at this point I'm notifying you that your requests are unwanted and to stop attempting to contact me on any of my social media accounts, Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. That's the public notice to you at this time. Repeatedly attempting to file citizen complaints in the city prosecutor after being told they are not complaints that the city would have jurisdiction over, and repeatedly using his right to speak at council during public comments to make accusations of corruption against city staff and council without providing any fact that would indicate this occurring. On October 28, 2022, Mr. White made a formal criminal complaint against City Manager Daniel Valenzuela, alleging abuse of official capacity and official oppression after Mr. White was removed from the city's attorney's office by the San Angelo Police Department. As standard protocol, that complaint was forwarded to the Texas Rangers, which Mr. White has stated, on November 8, 2022, after reviewing the body cam video of the removal of Mr. White, the Ranger declined to conduct an investigation into Mr. White's complaint. His statement is there's no basis for the investigation, as I could not find nothing in Mr. White's complaint, nor in the body-worn camera videos which would constitute a criminal offense committed by City Manager Valenzuela. The Ranger then went on to state that the decision of the officer to arrest Mr. White and remove him from the property was based solely on his refusal to leave when directed by the officer, not Mr. Valenzuela, and was done at the request of and not done at the request of City Manager Valenzuela. The City of San Angelo takes allegations of corruption seriously. Mr. White has not provided any information that would indicate the action taken by the city in regards to the Cactus sign is improperly based on the state of case law related to regulations of signs or the condition of the sign. To be clear, no further action can or will be taken with regards to the sign on top of the Cactus Hotel unless the condition of the sign deteriorates or the U.S. Supreme Court reverses recent direction on the limits imposed on the cities with regard to the sign regulation. We found it important to request to say this. Sometimes it's questionable whether what we say appears on a personal agenda or a public agenda or how we represent council. But this right here is our summary of all the accusations that you have brought forward to us. If you have anything else, we wish you would, make that request of city attorney. But at this point, the accusations we have here in this whole place is closed. I'm done.